Good morning and welcome to Drum Corps Central, a podcast. I am a 13-year-old drum corps superfan who loves all forms of the marching arts. Thanks for watching the podcast today. There will be an almost daily episode of this podcast recapping the previous night's drum corps scores and looking ahead. Today is Tuesday, July 10th, 2018. Last night, one show on the DCI tour. That show being in Pasco, Washington. I'll break that down, along with a look at the DCI Open Class and World Class leaderboards, and a look ahead to tonight when we have three shows. One in Valdosta, Georgia, one in Sioux City, Iowa, and one in Boise, Idaho. So, thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoy. So last night's one show was in Pasco, Washington, drums along the Columbia. Two open class corps here, Columbians and the Battalion. These corps, Open and World, have been touring together basically for the last few days, almost a week now. They've been touring together up in the Pacific Northwest, like in Washington. The Columbians and the Battalion have gone back and forth this whole time. And really, what I'm seeing is who goes on first and second in the show. Like, at this show, the Battalion went on first, Columbians second, which benefits the Columbians because the later you go in the performance, at least it's widely known as the better you go, the better you do, because judges can compare you more to those corps before you, and they don't compare you as much to those corps after you. The Columbians 57-4 to the Battalion 56-7. Widest margin we've seen so far out of these two corps. These corps wrap up their tours within the next week. The Columbians wrap up their tour tomorrow night. And the Battalion, they do have a little bit of an extended tour this year because DCI put some more shows out on the West Coast, like in the Salt Lake City area for the Battalion. So they have a little bit of a wider tour schedule this year, while the Columbians will still wrap up tomorrow. Meanwhile, over on World Class side, Santa Clara Vanguard, they break the 84-point range, 84.5 to be exact. Blue Knights second, 77-4, good score. These scores, I think, might be just a little weighted because really everybody gained, and I think night in and night out, not everybody gets better. As you go down here, on the World Class side, we've only seen one change so far in the Pacific Northwest tour, and that was Oregon Crusaders beating Pacific Crest on the first night, but then Pacific Crest taking that back, and they have not looked back. Now up to a point on the Oregon Crusaders. The Oregon Crusaders did gain a little, but still there. Seattle Cascades, they're gaining a little. I think that 62 score, very good. I don't think they made semifinals last year. I think they're in a great position to do that this year. I think that corps is another corps. I think a lot of corps are going in the right direction right now, and they are really all doing so well this season. Let's take a look at the scoring recap for drums along the Columbia and Pasco, Washington last night. So, first on the open class side, you see a partial panel, same way for World Class. So, just to go across, General Effect 1 to the Battalion, General Effect 2 to the Columbians, overall General Effect to the Columbians, 22-4 to 21-9. Move over to visual, only visual analysis judge. The Battalion go first there, 11-6 to 10-8. Music, then, music analysis to the Columbians. The music percussion, that content area there, that goes to the Battalion, but the achievement section goes to the Columbians. Overall percussion to the Columbians, 11-7 and 11-5. Overall music to the Columbians, 24-2 to 23-2. That gap in music analysis, the Battalion could not make back. So overall, Columbians 57-4 to the Battalions 56-7 last evening. Then over in World Class, you see Vanguard, they sweep everything. Blue Knights, they get second in everything. Academy get third in everything, except for the music percussion achievement area. That judge gave the Troopers third there. Troopers, other than that, three there, all fours. Pacific Crest, all fives, except for 2 6s. One in repertoire for general effect 1 and 1 in music analysis content. Oregon Crusaders, they get the 5s, where Pacific Crest gets the 6, and Seattle Cascades, all 7s, except for 1 6, where they tied the Oregon Crusaders in music analysis achievement. Now let's take a look at the DCI World Class Leaderboard as of this morning. A reminder, this is based on most recent score for each corps. So you see Santa Clara Vanguard, they have that show last night. The Bluecoats did not have a show last night. Bluecoats actually don't return to action until tomorrow night in Washington, Georgia. Santa Clara Vanguard, they have another show tonight. So they will probably still be at the top. Carolina Crown, you see there the highest other corps that has a show tonight in Valdosta. They'll probably win that show because that'll probably come in second, as you can just see down the next show and the rankings. See Crown Boston, how they were tied the other night in Orlando. That is why they both have 4s. And then you see the Mandarins, Colts, Blue Stars, all tonight in Sioux City. I'll talk about that show a little later. That is a huge show for implications as this tour goes on, because the Mandarins have not had a show since Friday, and they were the only world-class corps at the show. So their score was probably a little weighted because they're being compared to a bunch of open-class corps. That's why the Academy, I think that's why the Academy is tied with them, because Mandarins haven't had a show in a few days. I don't think the Mandarins have to worry about getting into finals. I don't think they have any scare when it comes to getting into finals right now. I don't think they do. I think they'll be back up to 10th or 9th tonight. If they can knock off the Blue Stars tonight, they will be either 8th, 9th, 10th when it comes later on the season. I think that Mandarin's number one goal, though, tonight is the Colts. As you keep going down the leaderboard here, you can see that finals gap. Very intriguing. Within 2 points, you've got, I'm going to consider the Blue Stars within 2 points. Blue Stars, Crossman, Mandarins, Academy, Colts, Madison, all right there that could make finals. I'd like to throw Spirit in there too. I think you would have to draw the line maybe under the Troopers, but definitely under them. Maybe under Spirit, of those corps that I think have a realistic chance to make finals. I think anybody below the Troopers, at least, I think they've got great shows, but I don't think they have that finalist future this season. In the future, like those corps like Oregon Crusaders and Genesis, definitely. Now let's take a look at the DCI Open Class leaderboards for this morning. Again, based on most recent score. So you see on the left, that is including all corps. The leaderboard on the right is excluding corps that will not be at championships. So you see on the overall open class leaderboard, that's the only one I want to look at this morning, because the Columbians and Battalion were the only two open class corps that competed last night. So the Columbians are 5th, Battalion 6th. If either of these two corps choose to go to championships in the future, like they aren't this year, but if they choose to in the future and they have all the things they need to be able to get there, they are huge contenders for a top 5 spot or a top 3 spot. If they could stick in the top 15, maybe even 10 as this season goes on with those corps still performing, I think it'd be fantastic for the Columbians and the Battalion this season. I think both of them can consider this season a success, as so many corps can. You see those quarters with shows tonight: River City Rhythm, Colt Cadets, and we get to see the debuts of Guardians, Louisiana Stars, and Southwind tonight in Valdosta, which I'll talk about in just a moment. Speaking of tonight's shows, let's take a look at tonight's shows for Tuesday, July 10th, 2018. So first up, Kuna, Idaho, and Drums Along the Rockies, Boise edition. 6:45, Welcome and National Anthem. Then you see those two open class corps, Columbians and the Battalion. They kick things off. This is every corps that has been up in the Pacific Northwest, except for the Blue Knights. They have tonight's show off. They return to action tomorrow night in Ogden, Utah. You keep going down, some things to watch out for. You see the Troopers, they got a really good, I guess you could say, seed tonight because they are, it is their home show. They go on last. I think that they could be really close to the Academy. I think we're going to be talking about Pacific Crest versus Oregon Crusaders a lot this season. And don't forget those other corps we're going to throw in there. Think about like a corps like Genesis. Could they get up to like a 17th or 18th this year? I mean, yes, you have to throw in like Blue Devils B and Vanguard Cadets. Where could they be? But I think even a 20th place finish for any of these corps should be considered a successful year. A look at just some notes for tonight. Drums Along the Rockies, Boise edition. Kuna High School, Kuna, Idaho. The weather forecast, bright and sunny, about the best weather you could get. If it was just a little cooler, I think it'd be great. I mean, 90 degrees at start time to down up to about 82, but sunny skies the whole night. Very good weather for a drum corps show. Second tonight, Sioux City, Iowa, DCI Morningside. 7 o'clock, Welcome and National Anthem. 7:10 and 7:27, we've got two open class corps, River City Rhythm and Colt Cadets. River City Rhythm, as I keep saying, they are just so strong this year. I think they could get like, I think I'd say 8th would be where they probably, somewhere plus minus their 7th, 9th, somewhere there. I think that's where they are this year. Their best finish in their few years in existence is 9th. I think that they could go way past that this year. Colt Cadets, I think that they are in perfect spot to make finals this year. They have not in the past few years, but I think that they have a chance to this year, a real chance. As you go down here, Genesis, could they jump up maybe above where Oregon Crusaders and Pacific Crest scored tonight? Mandarins, Colts, Blue Stars. Could the Mandarins win this show? Honestly, what I think is going to happen is it's going to be like a Blue Stars win or a Mandarins win by like a half a tenth or something. I don't think the Colts are going to be far behind. I think tonight is the beginning of when we see these West corps come to the Midwest and we see these corps and competition as really will be for the rest of the season. And what's so great about these smaller shows is that it's not the whole 24 corps. It's just small groups of them, and I think that is perfect for this point in the season. A few notes for DCI Morningside. At the Elwood Olson Stadium at Morningside College, 3201 Peters Avenue in Sioux City, Iowa. Sioux City, Iowa weather, mostly sunny to partly sunny skies as the day goes on at DCI Morningside. Lastly tonight, Valdosta, Georgia, and Drums Across America. Part 1 of that Drums Across America series, with how we have another show tomorrow night. Both shows hosted by Spirit of Atlanta. As you can tell, they go on last. This show is going to also be, this show's also going to have huge implications. Look at those 4 open class corps: Heatwave, Guardian, Southwind, Louisiana Stars. We have no idea what Guardian, Southwind, or Louisiana Stars have in store for us this year. I think they could be great contenders. I think that open class is as good as ever has been probably this year. Heat wave also, could they maybe get up? And I mean, Guardian Southwind Louisiana Stars always have been pretty strong since they've started existing a few years ago. Heat wave, could they get up there, maybe contend with them? Then down in world class, nothing really to watch. There's a few caption things to watch with Music City and Jersey Surf, but nothing huge. A few notes for this show: Drums Across America, Lowndes High School's Martin Stadium in Valdosta, Georgia. Weather forecast, picture perfect tonight. Looks like a great night for some drum corps. So just a few things before I finish for today. Make sure to check out drumcorpscentral.weebly.com for all your latest updates from the DCI and DCA summer tours. Schedule, scores, leaderboards, and more can all be found at my own personal drum corps website, drumcorpscentral.weebly.com. Make sure to follow my Twitter and Instagram accounts at drumcorpsgeek and subscribe to my YouTube channel where this podcast and more will be posted, Drum Corps Central. Thank you for watching today. I'll be back with another Drum Corps Central, a podcast episode in the near future. Thank you for watching.